history, but let's debate that here and now. What do you make us sound like that? That's no way to start, Frelund.
Red Wings.
Red
By the way,
Wings.
beat yo, lovely little.
One time,
Yeah,
and then the
well, that's
Penguins
what-
won the next time. So what
One-timer.
difference does that make?
Whatever. No, but
That's not the conversation.
I just think there's more.
More
The depth.
Red Wings.
You even have, on your list here, you even have depth. More depth.
You're going to start out with nonsense. Right out of the gate, you have to attack that I say that the Pittsburgh Penguins have Mario Lemieux, the best to ever play the sport, period. Sidney Crosby, Geno Malkin, who's won an MVP, who's won the Art Rod. That's right.
Geno.
And Ronnie Francis, who's in
But
the Hall of Fame,
this is
too.
your. Is this?
great.
Did you make
That's
this
a great
list?
one. No, I mean, look, you got Yzerman.
Yes, I made that list.
One of my favorite. For those listening in Southern California that are over the age of 30, they know the name Hacksaw Hamilton. One of my favorite. Somebody who would just spew on and just read from the AP Wire news as though he were the one discovering this news.
Really?
One of the things I remember reading. On the high-speed sports wire, breaking news, Detroit, Pavel Datsyuk is out.
That's Sayek.
Datsyuk.
Okay, the wings at center go.
good.
Just to Stevie Yzerman, Alex Delvecchio, an MVP, and Sergei Fedorov, Datsyuk, Zetterberg.
That's
a good
tough
group.
to beat, man. That is tough. Boy, is that tough.
I just beat it when I mentioned the teams in black and gold. I mean, the guys in black and gold. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of that. I don't think there's really much
Lemieux
of an argument there. Lemieux's
considerably
so much
better than any of them. So
Correct.
Yeah, I just said it's a good-looking group with the Red
And
Wings.
Sidney Crosby is better than anybody on the Red Wings list, too. So, I mean, what are we talking about here? Oh, stop it. Steve Yzerman was never the best player in the
He's
NHL.
no Sergei Fedorov.
He was
man.
top 5, but he was not the best. All right, Handsome, take us out of this this puck conversation.
Yeah, because I can't
What's
really
the
help
best?
you on
What's
that.
the best position group in American sports, professional? Because if we go into college, that's
Right.
another matter, too.
I don't know enough about the other three sports, so I'm
Okay,
going
what's
to,
your favorite
going to lean on
NFL
the NFL. For me, in the NFL, it's the Packers quarterback.
Bart Starr.
Oh,
Brett
Bart
Favre,
Starr's my very favorite.
Aaron Rodgers. You can also throw out Don Mikowski. We're looking at them now.
I think you can
If
throw
you-
out Don Mikowski.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to add one more chip
Yeah.
to the pile there.
You got George Blandy, you got Sid Luckman,
We got the Dallas Cowboys. So here are your nominees. Dallas Cowboys. Let's try to put these
For running backs?
into some sort of an order here. The Cowboys go Tony Dorsett, one of the great runners of all time. Emmitt Smith, a top 10 Super Bowl era runner. Herschel Walker,
One of the most unfulfilled potential
It
players.
gets thin at the end there.
It gets thin.
Gets
we'll
thin at
see.
the end.
Zeke Elliott's a great name to put on there after
Because guess
one
what?
year, but
I'll put the Bears running backs just by your Penguins position of Gale Sayers and Walter Payton ahead of them.
Exactly.
You know, I think just the fact that you have those two to start, you're better than Dorset and
Bears running
Emmett.
backs. Gale Sayers. You can throw Bronco Nagurski in there.
You could.
You really
could
want
throw
to do that
Bronco in there.
nonsense.
Yeah.
I don't like going that far back, though. But all right, Gale Sayers. Because it's I don't want to do this again, but I'll say it just so it's the same thing with Don Hudson or anybody else. It doesn't make a difference what happened in the 30s and 40s and until Johnny Unitas made the sport relevant. Nothing that happened preceding it mattered. They were baseball. If you were a great athlete in the 40s, you played baseball or you were a boxer. You weren't an NFL. You didn't go play pro football. How do I know that? Because the college all-stars used to beat the NFL champs. College players were better than the pros. Nobody played pro football. It doesn't matter what happened back then. Excuse me, forefathers, but them's the facts. However, you go Peyton, Sayers,
Red Grange,
Neil Anderson.
There is no NFL without Red Grange.
Okay, but
no. Again,
back to my preceding.
There is no NFL without Red Grange.
Right, but that's from a marketing standpoint. That
right,
he made
because he was so much better than anybody else. They had to run a barnstorming tour so people could come see Red Grange run the football.
Do you know who was playing defense against Red Grange? My forefather.
You know who was playing defense against Jim Brown?
Well, all right, fine.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you could make that same. He was so much he was so far physically superior to everybody else that he just ran roughshod.
At least there were viable high-end athletes playing football at that point.
But he was so far ahead of them.
Okay, but all right. Matt Forte, Neil Anderson, the forgotten guy.
Neil Anderson is the forgotten one.
People forget him, and now you have Jordan Howard.
I think that's better than the Cowboys group.
Done and done. I like where you're at, and while we're talking Bears, middle linebacker, Dick Butkus, Mike Singletary, Brian Urlacher, and going way back.
Running backs are still better, though.
You really? Okay.
I do.
Okay, so there you go. Money is the Chicago Bears, I guess, will
and that
allow
is
you
sacrilege
to
say that, to take the running backs over the middle linebackers.
Correct.
But I think I don't think you can touch those running backs as a franchise. I don't think you can.
Steelers. I mean, listen, you're going to hear a lot of similar same teams here because they've been in a lot of the Super Bowls.
Been around for a long time.
The Steelers outside linebackers go Jack Ham, James Harrison, Kevin Green, Greg Lloyd, Joey Porter. That doesn't seem like that impressive.
Kind of, yeah.
Are they better off, even though the Steelers are more known for defense? Are you better served going wide receiver? Lynn Swann, John Stallworth, Hines Ward, Santonio Holmes, and Antonio Brown. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's 3 Hall of Famers at minimum, and Hines Ward probably winds up.
I think it's about equal with the linebackers.
Who are your top 2 receivers for the Steelers? Just go 1 and 2.
Probably. I mean, when it's all said and done, Antonio Brown's going to end up being the best.
And who?
Swan.
Antonio
Lynn Swann. Okay. John Stallworth was just terrific.
But see, again, now I'm taking where you started this, which is Lemieux Crosby, right? And now I've got Jerry Rice and Terrell Owens.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know it drops off from there, but
JJ
we just had this conversation.
I know,
Houston, the third best receiver in the history of the NFL.
But who's 3? Who's your 3?
Who cares?
Dwight Clark, Freddie Solomon,
JJ Stokes.
I don't know.
Right? I mean, it gets thin after that, but I mean, those 2.
Let me just give you our NFL ones here.
Right.
Let me give you our NFL ones. You could also talk 49ers QBs that might, in fact, be better than the Packers. Because you go Montana, Steve Young, Y.A. Tittle, and John Brody.
I don't.
John Brody won an MVP.
Yep.
Seahawks safeties. This is a little one you might not consider. But Earl Thomas, clearly the key figure on that defense. Anyway, here are your baseball candidates. The Yankee center fielders, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio, Bernie Williams, Ricky Henderson. Not a long stretch in the pinstripes, but
I think your next one
some of his
close.
best years.
Not even close.
Dodgers starting pitchers, Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale, Clayton Kershaw, Orel Hershiser, Fernando.
It's not even close.
Red Sox left field. So the Yankees have the right fielders as well. The Babe, Reggie, Dave Winfield, Roger Maris. Boy, that's a pretty good one, too. And the Red Sox left fielders go Ted Williams, Jim Rice, Manny Ramirez, who likely ends in the Hall of Fame, and Mike Greenwell is no better than your 5th best left fielder of all time playing against the Green Monster there. You're saying Dodgers, though.
Yeah.
Frelund, you agree?
I mean, you're saying Dodgers?
I don't know. Those Red Sox left fielders are pretty good.
You got that, and I'm just going to pull this out because this is one of my great sports injustices. That Don Newcomb is not in the Hall of Fame, right? He's not even on your list, and a lot of that's because he was a Brooklyn Dodger. He was never an L.A. Dodger. But this is someone who won a Cy Young, is a 5-time All-Star, and his career ERA, if I could find it, and darn it, I'm going to blow it because I can't find the darn number right now.
It's low.
It's low,
yeah,
and
super low.
it's 3.56, but that's not even because he wasn't as good later in his career. But while he was with the Dodgers, his ERA was somewhere in like the low 3s, and nobody ever mentions him. It's like it's Don Newcomb. That is one of the all-time greats,
and also important in the history of America
integration
too, because it comes he's 1 year behind Jackie Robinson coming into the league with Roy Campanella. So I guess you're right. The Dodgers win that one, but I think second place is the Red Sox left fielders ahead of the Babe in right field.
It's interesting.
I don't know if I can do it. I think I have to go Yankees second.
Man, and Reggie's on that
right
list
fielders.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
The right fielders.
They're right fielders second. So Dodgers right fielders, then Red Sox, then Yankees center fielders.
Yeah.
We mentioned the NHL. I gave you the Penguins. I gave you the Red Wings.
That works.
Canadians goalies: Ken Dryden, Patty
close.
Waugh,
not even close.
Jacques Plante, Carey Price.
Yeah.
What's not close?
I don't think it's close. I don't think you'll find another goalie list like that.
No.
With
Blackhawks center iceman go Stan Mikita, Denny Savard, Jeremy Roenick,
Taves.
and Jonathan Taves.
Yeah, not as good as
Taves.
Jonathan Taves. And then,
that's how you're saying that word.
Taves.
That's how you say it.
Like Taves.
Bruins
That's
defenseman.
the E's before the W.
Bobby Orr, Raymond Borg, Zdeno Chara, Brad Park. That's your 5th place, I guess.
Wish that Chara was a little bigger.
Yeah.
A little too small.
I don't like that he gets to play with a giant stick.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
He's like 9 foot tall. He's got.
Well, I'm tall.
He plays with a club.
All right. There's got to be a limit.
It's like a giant club.
Yeah, it's unfair. It's a 10-foot
It's like
pole.
a lacrosse long pole.
And then in the NBA, Rocket centers, you go Yao, Akeem, the most underrated all-time great in NBA history. Ralph Sampson, not really a great pro. Moses Malone, a great pro, but a lot of his big years were
was
in
not
Philly.
with the Rockets.
And then Elvin Hayes. Sonics point guard, this is a stretch because we have Russell Westbrook of the Thunder, formerly the Sonics there. Gus Williams, Gary
Dennis
Payton.
Johnson, by the way, won a title with the Sonics as a point guard.
Dang, we left Dennis Johnson out. You're right, the late great. And Warriors point guard, Steph Curry, Tim Hardaway, Baron Davis. And then Celtics small forwards, Bird, Havlicek, Pierce, Reggie Lewis.
Those are good. I think it's, again...
But Lakers centers.
I mean...
Shaq.
Kareem is the most overlooked, greatest. I mean, he's the greatest basketball player ever.
Maybe you're right. I always
you can
say
make
it's
the case
NBA,
but in terms of basketball, he dominated New York high school basketball, dominated at UCLA. You know, they had to stop you couldn't dunk because Kareem was so dominant. They pulled dunking out of college basketball for a few years. Wilt is.
You know what hurts? You know what hurts Kareem? I would hypothesize is when he lands in LA. He's already right at the tail end of his prime by the time he even gets to LA. And yet the thing that people associate with him with the most is the rise of the Magic versus Bird
all he
battles
did was 5
and
more
everything.
titles.
And he was great, but he wasn't the key figure on those
Magic.
teams. And so you look at Kareem and say he was that guy. Well, we missed it. We missed what he was doing when he was Lou Alcindor with
the Bucks.
With the Bucks, exactly.
If you're using the magnitude thing, how are you? Like you said, like the first two when we were talking about the Lemieux and Crosby, right? How are you not talking about, some of the best players
Because
ever?
because you got to hold up your end of the bargain. Who's your your
best
weakest
guards.
link?
You got Jordan.
Yeah.
And you got
stop.
Then you got Quentin Daly, and then you got
Jimmy Butler.
You have to run at least
but
three.
He's a
deep.
forward. Yeah.
You got to run three deep at minimum,
What about,
right?
I don't know which teams we could say. What
By
about
the way,
Orlando?
Lakers also had Wilt and George Mikan.
Yes.
If you count the Minneapolis years. I'm
yeah.
sorry. So what? Go ahead.
I guess my point is
like
how you can't like finagle like a LeBron or you can't finagle like a Jordan somewhere because they played on separate. You've got.
Go ahead. I was thinking about that one driving yesterday as I was trying to cobble these lists together, these teams together. I was thinking about the Cavs. LeBron, swing him around where you want to use him. Where do you associate him? Three?
He's a forward. Yeah, he's a 3.
He's definitely a 3.
I would call him a 3. I know he plays all those spots, but so now you have to settle into him being the 3. Where else are you going with the Cavs?
Nowhere.
But what about he played somewhere else too? Can we somehow finagle it with Miami?
Go ahead, try and make that one work.
Let me just read Wilt's averages with the Lakers. All right, this is just Wilt with the Lakers: 21 and 21. 27 and 19, 21 and 18, 15 and 19, and the last year he played professional basketball at 36 years old, he averaged 13 points and 19 rebounds. That's Wilt Chamberlain. That's just with the Lakers, not when he was dominating with the Philadelphia Warriors, doing 51 points and 26 rebounds per game.
All right, back to my point, though, about Don Hudson playing football. I was guarding Wilt. So what
Well, he was just such a supreme. He was Jim Brown-esque. He was so much better, and, it wasn't even close. There was nothing you could do. I mean, there were other big guys in the game, but he was such an athlete, they could not stop him.
I guess I'm just happy you didn't have Dwight Howard on that Rocket centers list.
I could have. I thought about putting him in there, as a matter of fact.
No, he's so angry.
Yeah.
Handsome. Any cricketers you want to throw out?
I mean, there are, but
go ahead. We have an international audience.
I would say Australia's had a history of having great number 3 batsmen. Don Bradman, probably the best cricketer of all time. Alan Border, a bunch of other guys who've batted there. The other one that our old friend Black Tie threw out was the Manchester United number 7 jersey. Has been worn by a lot of great players from George Best, David Beckham, Cristiano Ronaldo, Eric Cantona.
That's better than, I guess we're not playing we're not playing national teams, but I thought that the 6 of Brazil? Is that Pele? No, 9 of Brazil,
9.
Right?
Yeah, that would be
Pele was 9, but yeah.
That's their
Ronaldo
with the weird
The
haircut.
other Ronaldo.
Yeah.
But we're talking teams.
Yeah.
We're not talking national squads.
Which is why Australia's cricket team.
I start with you, Frelund. Give me your win-play show of these things. I think we've hashed through them. I don't think we missed any obvious one, right? Is there anybody that I speak now or forever hold your peace? If I missed somebody,
I do not believe you missed anybody.
Tigers relief pitchers, I don't know.
That's just me.
Hey, Willie Hernandez won an MVP for the '84 Tigers.
Do I have to be alive? I was alive in '84. Just not.
That was a heck of a team. That team is underrated.
35-5, underrated.
Is Jack Morris? No, I'm talking about Hall of Famers from that team.
I don't think if Jack Morris got. I don't know that Jack ever did get into the Hall of Fame, which is crazy.
Like that if you look at that team, there aren't a lot of Hall of Famers on that team, and you think about how dominant that team was.
Trammell and Whitaker should be in the Hall.
They should.
Kirk Gibson was sort of their dynamic guy, but I don't think he had huge numbers.
Yeah. But you got Jack Morris as your. I mean, his postseason numbers are crazy. Like his.
No, I mean the game 7,
game
10
7
innings against the Braves is handsome. We don't have to go down that that road again.
Who can forget it?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I'm crossing out all the ones in the NBA because
had a hefty bag for an outfield wall.
Yeah, literally.
Bounce off big bag.
It was just plastic. It wasn't a hefty bag, but it might as well have been. Same material. Sorry.
It's okay.
Win, play, show.
So, okay, first of all, this is my logic. I have to cross off all of the NBA ones because, when you don't have, when the list doesn't even include, the best players in the entire sport, then for some reason I can't.
All right, I dig that logic as a matter of fact.
So I'm going
although, I don't know, what do you mean? Shaq and Kareem and Wilt don't count in the top,
but if you don't have,
players of all time?
If you don't have, they count in the top 8, so I guess that one if they were going to. But I just feel like unless Jordan and LeBron were on here somewhere,
Well, how about this one? You know what? I do have to add one more to the NBA list. Lakers 2 guards. You go Kobe, Jerry West. So right there, you're in great shape. Now you have to figure out the rest of it.
Elgin's a 3. Elgin was a 3.
Fine.
So
that's not a problem.
I thought that's where you were going.
No,
Gail Goodrich.
Gail Goodrich.
And Byron Scott was on most of those titles.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
All right, that would be better. But it's hard though because and all these positions get a little funky too because there are very few people who are a straight 2 or straight 3. Like you're a 3-ish 1. You're that's the
right.
front.
And I encourage you not to play it cute with. Well, I know he spent a year. No, you know what we're talking. How do we?
Correct.
Tim Duncan. We talked about the Spurs centers and. Eddie Spaghetti threw that out, and he said, "Well, Tim Duncan has been a center later in his career, but we don't consider him that way."
No, and even 4s, some 4s are stretch 4s and score 3 points, and some don't. So, to me, it's that's a basketball is a tricky one with that. So I'm crossing off all basketball, and I love basketball, so it's too tricky. My problem here is that my win is probably the Packers quarterbacks because that's just such a ridiculous list. But the problem is there's still some more sex appeal about being the Dallas quarterback, and that annoys me, but they're still my win because even if you're
Dallas, you're going off the board. You're going Staubach and Meredith and Morton.
I'm telling you, it's just sexier. It's sexier.
And Romo and Dak.
Sexy,
it's the sex appeal of being the Dallas quarterback.
You got Staubach and Aikman. Yep. I mean, that's a lot of championships there.
And Romo, and now Dak.
That's a lot of championships.
And Quincy Carter.
I mean,
all I'm saying is that it's because that's my win there. But I will acknowledge it's kind of annoying that the best one is not the one that's the sexiest. That's annoying to me.
But I mean, Packers quarterback, that's pretty sexy.
Not as sexy as
Bart
Cowboys.
Starr,
I get it, but it's not.
Like if
Bart
you
Starr defines sex appeal.
Actually, Bart Starr is my favorite of all of them. So Bart Starr driving away in that, Google it, when that Mustang. That's
pretty hot.
Pretty
hot stuff.
So my second place are going to be the Dodgers. I mean, that's just such a
now
ridiculous...
we're looking at it. If you want to watch us along NFL.com/DDFP, there he throws it to the golden boy, Paul Hornig.
Exactly.
All right, go ahead, Frelund.
Okay,
so you're saying Cowboys won. You did go off the board.
No. Packers won, even though my asterisk there is that it's sexier to be a Cowboys quarterback.
Okay, 1.
Number 2 is the Dodgers pitchers.
Okay.
Number 3,
right
Red Wings. Here. Boom.
That's ridiculous. Well, that's now you're trying to. That's brazen.
Because you never ever like your team. This is a great list. I admit that Lemieux's better than anyone on the Red Wings list, but you're not. But I was saying the collective power.
The top 2 are better than anybody on the Red Wings.
Not yet with Crosby.
All right, listen, Sidney Crosby.
He's pretty special.
The height of his powers is better than Steve Yzerman. I watched them both. I have great admiration for Stevie Y.
What about
he was dynamite?
These two?
But
Gino's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Malkin was an MVP. He's their 3.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad.
Handsome. What's your number 1? You're going to only do NFL?
Still the Packers quarterback.
Packers number 1.
Love
okay. Money. Go ahead. 1,
Dodgers.
2, 3.
Dodgers
1.
Yeah, I think that's easy for me. I think Lakers centers 2 is also pretty easy for me. And I'm stuck on 3 because I'm really tempted with Winfield, Reggie Jackson, and Babe Ruth, I don't know how do you top that? Like that is so far and away to me ahead of even though you thought that Williams, Yaz, and Rice.
Who was out there when they were winning the World Series in the late '90s? I'm trying to think. It wasn't Paul O'Neill, was it?
Wasn't Bernie, was it? No, he was in center.
He's
Bernie
center.
was in center.
Paul
O'Neill. Yeah, it was Paul O'Neill.
Is right field.
Yeah, Paul O'Neill was in right.
So who's in left for them? I can't remember. Well, it doesn't make a difference. Paul O'Neill.
Or wait, maybe Paul O'Neill was in left. Because wasn't he behind Brocious? I'm trying to think. Was that same side of the field?
Emma VP. Where was Paul O'Neill was in right? He was in right field. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because I do remember when he was retiring.
I'm stuck on 3. I really don't want to give you the Penguins centerman, but, man, is that tough to pass on.
How do you – he's the best player of all time.
I know,
plus a top –
because I just don't like you being all willy-nilly with that. It's not –
willy-nilly.
Yeah, it's not, he's the best player of all time. No, Gretzky was pretty damn good.
I didn't say
he was damn good. He's probably the best player of all time.
You've never heard me say – you've never once heard me say that Wayne Gretzky wasn't good.
I just don't want to get into the whole Lemieux versus Gretzky.
You don't have to get into it, friend. You can just rank them and say
all right,
goodnight.
Dodgers 1, Lakers 2, and I'm going to go
make me happy. I have so little. Just say the Penguins.
I know. That's a pretty bad. Although, you know what? No. I think there's a bigger gap between the Canadians' goalies and the second best group of goalies.
That's an outrage. What are you talking about?
Where's your second best group?
Give
me your second best group of goalies behind freaking Ken Dryden and Patrick Waugh as your 1 and 2.
All right. Well, I mean, listen. There were some great Bruins goalies.
I'm not saying there weren't, but they weren't freaking Ken Dryden and Patrick Waugh.
Next,
you know
these
that.
NBA ones, we're going to do duos. You have to play like the 2 together.
That's another
1
conversation.
And 2.
Great.
That's a better one because this one I take issue and I
found
NBA.
this terrible.
All right, I've wasted too much of your time. I have wasted too much of your time.
I want the last 20 minutes cut from the podcast. This has been an attack on me, and I won't stand for it. All right.
Give us your 1, 2, 3. You didn't do it.
Number 1.
Penguins. Number 2, Steelers. Number 3.
You can make your jokes, but you know what? I think that
Panther running backs. Deion Lewis was special.
No, you know what? If
Tony Dorsett.
No, you know
what
am
I forgetting? There's one guy who I'm forgetting.
Swerve and Curvin Richards. I'm going to do it just to make things right. I don't even know if I believe it, but I'm going to say the Penguins centers are 1, the Dodgers pitchers are 2, and I think I'm with Shaq, Kareem, and Wilt.
And Mikan.
And
don't forget about Benoit Benjamin there. He was on that team for a minute.
You know what? I got to go. Yeah, that's right. I got to go Packers. And Eldon Campbell. Don't forget Eldon Campbell either. And Chris Mim. I got to go Packers.
Campbell, though, played the 4. Divac was the 5 that when